Okay, the part that we had on there was a Murray, which cost $59. And we're going to go opt for a Four Seasons this time, which cost us $114. And hopefully this will be better. And it'll last longer, we'll see. But somebody told me they made by the same company. So there's the two blower motor resistors. Old one is Murray on the left, and the new one is Four Seasons on the right. Pretty much identical, just a little bit different numbers on them. Okay, then to get access to the heater hoses, the assembly for the windshield wiper has to be detached and set off to the side, otherwise you can't access really to get in there conveniently. As you can see, I've removed the panel there and the windshield wiper arms, and now I've gotten to this point and take out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts, and then this comes out, and that exposes this, and still hard to reach into there to get the blower motor resistor out. Okay, taking out or putting in the windshield wiper assembly is pretty easy. It's only held in by 3 bolts, and there's one electrical connector. I didn't take the electrical connector off, as you saw. I just set it off to the side. There's one bolt here, and another bolt goes in here. So there's 2. And then the third one is right here. Okay, next up, this bracket and valve has to go back on or come off, depending on the steps I'm doing. I don't remember what this valve is called. If I can find out, look it up, I'll post it. Basically, it just goes in like so. Can't see anything with this light. So there's a nut that goes there and one up here, and then these two tubes go in there, and then the electrical connector is there. So you can see that all this has to come out to get into the stupid blower motor resistor. Okay, I took off the windshield wiper assembly unit, which is 3 bolts, and just set it off to the side. And now that finally gives us access a little bit more reasonable, and you can see that down here is what we're aiming for. So my mechanics in the past have taken these off and to get to the blower resistor. So I don't know why Ford couldn't have put it in a little bit more accessible spot, but this is not standard. We did this because you may have heard the intake manifold is basically plastic, nylon, whatever, and this comes off, breaks very easily, so we put this T in to put less strain on that when we have to take things off. So I'll have to get to this. Unlike the mechanics, I think I'm going to drain the radiator so I don't get coolant everywhere and then mess up the spark plugs and coils. Okay, these 2 hoses have to come off. They go to the heater core and they have to come off to get access. You can barely put your hand in there now. They just have to come off. I couldn't do it with the hoses on, so I took them off. It's a Torx 20. I don't know if that's what's supposed to be there, but that's what was on here. I don't know if the Mar mechanic did it, or Gary, did you do this? Or is it supposed to be that way? I'm just going to start this out and then see if I can stick the other one, which is not a Torx. It's 8mm doohickey, down on the lower one, and I can barely get my hand in there. And I put a bead of silicone around the top part of the resistor, because I noticed in the past that when these things break or come apart with the coolant going into the heater core, it floods the resistor and causes it to fail. Okay, here is the defective one that I took off the town car. It's made by VDO, made in China, which is sold by AutoZone. And it's squeaking and barely turning. And you'll notice, looks like it's pressed on. I'm not sure how one would get it off. So, can't take off the blades, as far as I can see. Well, maybe there's a trick that I don't know about. So, here is the Motorcraft one. And it's actually made by a big company called Bros. And it's assembled in Mexico. It's a USA company assembled in Mexico. And it's obviously Motorcraft contracts with them. So this is the way it comes. And you're supposed to have this nice MM1085, and Ford calls it a wheel. So it's the fan wheel, and it's white, and it goes right on, like so. And notice it's got a flat side here to match the flat side there. And in the box with the motor comes the clip that holds it on. There it is, clip that holds it on. So that's how Ford does it. And so what you do is you buy a new motor and you just take this off and put it back on. Or if it's bad, then you buy another one. The Chinese version is, can't take it off. Oh, and by the way, I got this Bros / Motorcraft blower motor from Rock Auto for $56. It's selling for $40 to $50 more at the auto parts stores. The fan wheel I got from my local Ford dealer for $19. And they had it shipped from Anaheim, and it got here in a couple hours, so not a bad deal in reality. So that's how that worked. Rock Auto, I had to wait for delivery from, I think it was from, anyway, back east, and it took FedEx ground about 5 to 6 days to get here. So if you're not in a hurry, then that's a good deal. Otherwise, if you need it the same day, obviously, you'll have to pay more. Okay, when you put the clip on, you can see it's a little, I don't know how we say it, curved or whatever, so it goes in on like this, so that the flat side is facing down. The flat side is facing down, and the little bump is facing up. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I just gently pushed that on all the way until it stopped, and now we are ready to go and put it back in the town car. Okay, once you get this connected and the tubes back in, next comes this piece. And you want to make sure that your washer lines for the washer jets are hooked up correctly. And you flip it over. And it goes back in there like that. Of course I have to set it in right, but I just wanted to show you. And there's a couple clips. I think there's supposed to be 4, but we only have 2 left. And that helps hold it on. Okay, I've done that. The windshield wiper arms are back on. The next step would be to put these pieces back here, followed by this one to go there, and then the molding, but I'm going to wait to do that because I still have to put the blower fan in. So to do that, there are 2 bolts. One is here, if you can see that. Sorry, the camera, I can't see too well in the sunshine. So one is here, and one is there. And then there's a clip that goes there. And the spiders have been busy, as we can see. And there's a clip that goes here, but we broke that. So again, clip, 1 8mm here, and another over here. And that's it. That's holding the wheel well. So also there are some bolts holding the fuse and relay assembly in, and they're all attached here to the wheel well, which is only held on by 2 bolts with a battery. So just loosen those up, and all you have to do is just come over here and grab it and let it drop down a little bit, and then that gives you access into where the blower motor goes. Can't do it without dropping that down. There's no way. You can see this just kind of rode with it, and it's there. So the blower motor goes in here, and it's held on with 3 8mm bolts. And it goes in with the connector part down, and essentially it just goes in just like that. I have to take this other bolt out, but that's how it goes in, like that. So I've just rested that in there, connected it, and there's one screw. Yeah, essentially they're screws with an 8mm nut head. And it just goes one here, and the other goes here. Just tighten those up, and then the windshield washer, everything goes back. The windshield washer reservoir will go back in there. Those 2 pieces will go back in, and put this back up and tighten up the battery and reconnect everything. And that'll be that. Thank God. Okay, there are 4 spots where clips should go, and then the last one over here. But as I said, for some reason we only have 2 left, and all the people that have been working on this car over the years. So I'm just going to put one in there. And see, this is where the windshield wipers go, there and there. And then I'll put the last one down here. That's where it was before. And surprisingly, these clips are all that hold this in. Of course, it'd be better if the other two were here. But I could get them from probably from Ford, and then just put them in. It's no big deal because this is almost finished. Alright, next come the windshield wiper arms. They just go right there. There are two sizes. There's a shorter one and a longer one. The longer one will come over to the passenger side. And you just press that down in there and then put the nuts on. Okay, put those two pieces back on. They don't seem to really want to stay in there. We're missing a couple of bolts from the previous mechanics. And that's all back. Windshield wiper fluid is back. There's one bolt holding it on. There is a sensor down here, an electrical connector for the pump, and then the actual hose for the washer fluid. And there's a little notch that it goes into there. And that's it. Take that off to get to this, to get to that, to get to that, and then reverse, just put everything back together.